So here we have a shield based loader. So this is very simple. So you have one power called Riptide. This allows you to put down 2 circles, um, hit the shield again for the second time, and of course your group heal the second time. You don't even need to because the cooldown is very quick. But in terms of these ones, you have 80-second cooldowns on the 2 shields, then 12-second cooldown on the actual water pool. So it'll go something like this. So if you want 2 water pools, hit the first power with Riptide, then you can place the second one anywhere in the room. So now you have 2 water pools covering a larger room. Then you can exactly do the same with the shield. So hit the shield. Once you see that your shield has taken a lot of damage and it has gone away, hit your Riptide again, and hit your shield once more to get that 2 shields off like that. Hey guys, so this will be a very quick water healing guide. So before I do anything, let's go over artifacts. I don't know why I said that, but artifacts for water healing. So I will be going over 3 different loadouts. So this is a Eye Gemini loadout. So the particular mods that you will need is Eye Gemini, Scrap a Soul Globe. You can either use Purple Healing Ray, Page of Destiny, or the Transformation card, or the Strategist card. It's totally down to you as an individual. But I like the Purple Healing Ray, gives me that extra power back every time I heal the group for very high heals using my group heal or my EOG. So this gets activated with a purple ring underneath your feet. So every time you either use Pyro to heal, which gives that person a extra shield, or a group heal, it actually gives you 20% power restoration, which is very good as a healer. So you're not that much reliant on the actual trainer. Hey guys, so now this loadout is the High Tide loadout. So this, let's see what High Tide is all about. So grants High Tide, allowing certain water abilities to gain additional effects. So this will actually buff up your supercharge as well if you're High Tide. Tranquil Pool allows also grants group members with bubbles. So if you have 7 people in this supercharge, which creates an extra healing blue water circle on the ground, every single one of them will get a bubble. And then this also works with Soothing Mist, works with Mending Wave, and it also works with your 7-man shielding power as well. This also works with DPS as well. So here you go to DPS Aqualance. If you're High Tide, Aqualance deals damage over time instead of one burst damage, which is what Aqualance does. So it is really powerful. High Tide is. So in terms of the usage, so I would you would hit your Riptide power, then go into any of your powers, then go into Tsunami Strikes, weapon combo. Now you can see the cooldown of the number 1 power is gone already. Now the weapon combo Tsunami Strikes, all you do is hit the power in tap range 2 times. You only have to do this twice. So let me show you again. 1, 2, 1, 2. There you go. The cooldown of Riptide is gone, so you can hit it again and again, quickly increasing the actual heals you can do with water. This is the only reason why I love water, because you can heal it more than so many different ways. You can use a shield loadout, you don't have to use a shield loadout, you can use this loadout, and so on, and you can have a different combination of powers with High Tide to actually push the healing even further. So if you did want to, you could have Tranquil Pool in there as well. Get that extra, but it is a supercharger cost of 1000, which is the downside of it. You can use your 7-man shield, and then with Tsunami, with the High Tide active, it actually gives a heal over time to your group. So there's so many different ways that you can use water, which is really, really powerful. Okay, and this as well, it critically heals everyone with the High Tide power interaction. Okay, so yeah, so your choice really, whichever three loadouts you want to use, you can use, but the shielding loadout is the most easiest one to use. Hey guys, just to go very quickly go over the actual artifacts that you should be using with each loadout because it will be different. Okay, so now with the high tide loadout, which is right here, I would recommend using the following. So where is it gone? Yeah, so it will be Page of Destiny, Purple Healing Ray, and then Transformation card. Okay, I would recommend these three here. You can switch out Transformation card for Orb of Orion, but just be very careful with your priority heal because it can use a lot of power with this artifact. Okay, and then of course you can use Strategist card as well with this particular loadout because this loadout does not use much power because Tsunami Strikes uses very little power to, when you are hitting it to get the cooldown of high tide. So you can use strategies here as well. Okay, and yeah, so with this loadout, you particularly won't be using a weapon as much because you will be constantly hitting Sniper strikes. You can make sure the high tide power is off cooldown for those moments where you do need to clip it to heal the group. Okay, now with the EOG loadout, the artifacts I would recommend using are the following: will be Scrapper Soul Clog, 100% is a must, and a Eye Gemini is another artifact that is a must. Then what's the point of EOG spamming without the Eye Gemini artifact? Then the third artifact is totally down to you. You can use Purple Healing Ray, you can use Page of Destiny, Transformation, Strategist card, and you can even use Orb of Orion artifact. Totally down to you, okay? But I would recommend using Purple Healing Ray because you get that extra 20% power back every time you either use a priority heal and heal a lot, or your group heal and heal your group for a large amount of heals. That is when this artifact gets activated, and any other power you press, either your priority heal or your group heal, you get that 20% power back, which is very good. So you don't have to rely as much on the trawler when healing, and it also increases your um, heals anyways with this artifact. Okay, so that is the EOG artifacts. Then in terms of your normal healing, which is your shield based loadout, I would again recommend the same artifacts, but you can switch out the third option, which is strategist card or your Orb of Orion artifact. Is totally down to you as an individual player, but I would recommend using these three because these three work really well in elite raids. Okay, so we covered the three loadouts, we covered artifacts that you can use for each one. Now, in terms of white sockets, so if you are EOG healing, you can use Perfect Poise as a head socket mod in your head, or you can use the other one, which is called the one which actually gives power back to you every time you use a certain ability. So if you go over to your base vendor, and let's take a look. Where is it gone? Head socket, head socket, head socket. I do have it in here somewhere. There we go. So if you can use this one here, word of where is it gone? So here, every time you use high tide, returns 3% overpower. When you use water high tide, this effect can only occur every 10 seconds. Okay. Then you have where there's another one here as well, which you can use. Or is that the only one which actually gives power back? There we go. So returns 3% power every time you use your 7-man shield, which is Tempest Guard. So it's totally down to you, depending on which loader you use. Incorporate these head mods best you can, so it actually increases your healing in a better way. Then now in terms of the next socket, always use Focus Restoration as a healer. Your back socket, use accelerated mending wave. So you can hit your 4-man group heal as quick as you can. So by doing that, you can actually make sure that it activates this artifact as much as you can, because it also increases your heals as well, and because these two work together. And then in your chest socket, you can either have extended supercharge, which will work well with the EOG loadout, or you can have enhanced recovery, or you can have the other mod which actually extends your power pool. Okay, so there's 3 different ways that you can use these mods for your chest socket. And for the hand socket, you can use regenerative shielding. Every time you use the shield based loadout, you can go ahead and use this. um for the feet socket, tumbling master. So as a healer, you most likely you will be rolling out of one shot or field of damage. So having tumbling master is very good. It allows you to move out of the way very quickly and out of any damage, because if you're a solo healer, the one thing you need to make sure is you don't die, because if you die, the whole group will die with you. Especially in the elite content, you need to be on your feet. And now in terms of the affinity mod bonuses, this will only apply if we have OP pieces and elite pieces. Okay, so for the type A and type D, make sure you have the restoration mods, so you get that extra restoration. Type C, make sure you have healing and conservation, so every time you use a priority heal, um, any power, it will reduce the power cost of the next superpower you use within 15 seconds. Then type D is your field mechanic, so grants an invisible aura to heal nearby allies over time. So that is a white sockets covered, plus the Affinity mod sockets covered. Okay, so if you do have any questions about any of these mods, let me know in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them for you. So as you guys know, Allies is a new system they introduced a while back. So now with Allies, for healing, it depends on your power, okay? Because if you're electric, House of Legends bot is a must, okay, that you must use. Because with arc lightning, with electric, it stuns enemies, so you get that extra power back. With water, there's no stunning abilities that you can use and heal at the same time. Okay, so with tsunami strikes, I don't believe it does do any stuns. So hitting enemies, turns, yeah, just damage. There's no crowd control effects, so I would not recommend using this. But the one I would recommend for water healing is the Cyborg. To receive bonus to passive power recovery when your base generates above 50%, and then Oracle, which slowly heals your gear over time. Then, of course, the DPS side of things, whatever you want to use for that extra damage. So, now in terms of arguments, the two that you do need to use are the following. So, for your adaptive arguments, there are 2 different ones. Okay. So here, you first one you have is your adaptive arguments, which is your head mods, as you can see, which come from specific episodes. So every episode, these will be the ones that will always be changing. So they will have specific as you level them up, they will have specific bonuses, like you get the extra currency at a certain rank, or you get the extra stats, as you can see, that 3% restoration and power, while in World of Flashpoint for both, and the stacker as well. And of course, they give you stats as you level them higher and higher, the more stats you get out of it. Okay, so that is the adaptive arguments, which will be changing every episode. And then the origin arguments are leveled over time. At the moment, the max level, more the max rank is 302. So the ones I would recommend is called Restoring Ruin, and maxes out as far as you can. At the moment, the max rank is 302, but every episode this will increase by, I believe, is by 5 to 10 ranks every episode. And to level these up, you will need to salvage gear. From the R&D station, once you salvage the gear, you will be given these extra bytes, which you can then put into your origin arguments, okay, to level this up. And then for the adaptive arguments, every time you do content, you will be given special extra bytes as well, and which you can use to level up your head arguments. So that is how you level up your arguments and make sure they are restoration ones, because then the restoration ones will make sure they give you the highest restore and the power stats that you need as a healer. So that is all on this part of the subject about arguments. If you do have any questions on this part, of course, and let me know in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them for you. So hey guys, so now the last thing will be your skill points allocation. So for all of the three loadouts, there's one particular loadout where you may need to change the spec. So for the EOG and the Slimy Strikes High Tide loadout, you make sure you go super powered, okay? Because with hybrid you have to use a weapon to get the power regeneration back, even though it gives it a 5% restoration and 5% dom. So you can lose that, okay? I wouldn't recommend going hybrid healing, because the amount of power that it just sucks is not worth it. I'd rather have a full power bar and be able to heal my group again and again by using all the power that I can get. Okay, so go super powered, then go 20 into critical healing chance, max it out. The same with the healing magnitude, max it out as well. Then go full restoration. Then any skill points you have, put everything into might and power. So the way to spec this only applies to the EOG loadout and the High Tide Tsunami Strikes loadout. Now for the shielding loadout, you have to spec a bit differently. We'll do everything the same, but put 20 into dominance, and I will explain why, and then the rest into might and power. So now if you go to your stats and read what it says. So restoration is combined with dominance to determine the potency of healing and shielding abilities. So shield equals base shield multiplier by times 112.5, okay? And then restoration plus 150% dominance. So it uses restoration and dominance to determine how strong your shields are. And since you are using a shield based loadout, it makes sense to use some of your skill points and allocate it into dominance. So for this instance, I have used 20 into dominance to get that 4% dominance at the 20 skill point mark. That is enough, okay, in combination with your restoration. Because if you go down to dominance, and it works the other way as well, dominance is combined with restoration as tanks. Dominance is the first thing that's used instead of restoration for healers. Is used, and the secondary stat is restoration that is used plus with the 150% dominance to determine the strength of the shields. For healers, it's the other way around. Restoration is used first, then with that 150% dominance to determine how strong your shields are. And of course, it makes your heals much stronger and better when healing the group. So that is all I wanted to explain with the skill point allocation. With these loadouts, it's only one difference. Only difference is with the shield loadout, you have to use some into dominance. I would recommend using 20, but if you don't have enough skill points, using 5 or 10 is completely fine to get that 2% and 3% dominance stats. So if you have any questions about this particular part of the video, let me know in the comments below, and we can discuss it in the comments. So just a very quick closing statement about water healing. It is a very easy and versatile power to use. You can heal in many different ways. Okay, which is what I love about water healing. You can use a shield based loadout, tsunami strikes based loadout, EOG loadout. You can even use a loadout where you use no where you use one shield with tsunami strikes and then a supercharge as well, which works with high tide. So the one that does is this particular power here. So if you're high tide, the pool also grants each group member a bubble, which is this shield, which is the strongest shield for water. Okay, and then you have this as well. You can use this. Surround yourself in a large amount of water, granting power and immunity to crowd control effects, shielding you from incoming damage and reducing your active water superpower cooldowns by a large amount. Okay, so you can use flood of power to get the 4 pools on the ground, because this actually reduces all of your cooldowns by a large amount. So you can get your 2 pools, then hit this as well to get your 4 pools, because you can reapply these abilities again. So you can use this type of a loader if you are with a second healer and there are ELG spamming. So for those oh crap moments, you will have four healing pools on the floor. So let me know what you guys think about water as a healer, whether you are using one or not in the game, and what your thoughts are on these loadouts. So that is all. Thank you for watching. Like always, please like, comment, and subscribe.